Okay, well, as you can see, I've made a small Rover robot. It's only 40% of the original scale, and went ahead and added the lights and the motors and all that good stuff, even 3D printed small roller casters. But the project didn't start here, so let's start where it's really started. My initial thought was just to make a simple model that would fit on the A1 Mini, and of course this printed like this, and there was all support material in there which I broke out, and there was support material in here which I broke out. So as soon as I had this main piece done, I got looking at it and went, you know, maybe I could fit lights in there. Actually, when I started this, it was just going to be a static model. Wasn't going to be any lights, no functions, just a little something easier to put on the shelf and display. So I went ahead and broke the file back down again so the head could be a separate piece, and then went in and did the lights, did a translucent white back cover in there with just 3 random flashing lights there. I'll show you more about what's going on in here, but normally this is what we're dealing with. As you can see, there are some lights in there. It's actually more activity than a lot of the shows had. Sometimes you can see they just had one light bulb inside there and masked off a bunch of the holes. And I put a lot of the ones in there, and motorized the rear antenna, got the side lights on, and the coasters have wheels that can turn. In fact, this caster can even go around that way. These are dragging a little bit, but not bad. Used paper clips to make the hangers. Just went ahead and printed the tail lights in red because I wasn't going to try to fish small LEDs back there. And I could have, but I didn't want to. Okay, so what's actually happening in here is I've built this centerpiece on a long string so I could put a 4-pack, well, mainly because this had a 4-pack, I didn't have a 3-pack laying around, and this can just reside in there, and this will bring main power down to all of the flashing LEDs and the lights and the motors and all that good stuff. Just a switch, the dropping resistors and the LEDs up there, so this whole mess can just sit down in there like so. So I don't have any plans on doing it again. It was way too much work, but like I say, initially started with just a simpler idea, just to make something small and static. And of course, as soon as I started the project, I decided, I can't live with small and static. I gotta try to put the lights in there. And these lights, of course, weren't hard. Once I figured out what I was going to do with that wasn't hard. Then once I figured out what I was going to do up in the head, at that point I went, you know, I gotta do the motor in the back. So I ended up using a N20 gear motor, the 15 RPM at 3 volts, which is about what I'm feeding it, 30 RPM at 6 volt type little N20 just fits in there. And this particular one, unlike the bigger one, the shaft does not pull out. The little antenna piece that's 3D printed can pull off, but the shaft needs to stay as part of the model. So 40% the original scale and 100% of the work. Oh, and the color. I wanted to experiment with kind of a different color. I don't know how it's coming off on the camera. This is kind of a gold, silver kind of color. I think it looks better than pure gold. It was very close to the brass color, and yet under certain lighting conditions it looks silver. When I saw the gray, I said gray is actually not a bad color at all for this, so I started looking for duplicolor car paints, you know, touch-up paints, and I found a Toyota color that I looked at it and I went, that wouldn't look too bad on the Rover. So gave it one of those. And here's black balls. Just pinned them with nails. These are a 3mm rod, which is bent and fit in holes and glued. Like I said, these were paper clips. And the rest is 3D printed.